Hello everyone and welcome to a Team Thumbs video. My name is Andy. I'm going to be breaking down my top 5 Spider-Man games. Let's get right to it. Number 5 on my list is Ultimate Spider-Man. I tell you now, this game looks amazing. It's the second open world Spider-Man game set around the story of a young Peter Parker trying to learn the mystery, the truth of his father's research, which, spoilers, is a version of the Venom suit. The web slinging is pretty good in this game, with its limitations probably down to the PlayStation 2's own limitations. I, however, think playing as Venom in this game is way more satisfying. His brute strength and what I think are web whips? Web tentacles? Venom was really strong and fun to play with is what I'm trying to say. But once you stopped ogling at the fantastic graphics, you realise behind them is a really good game. Number 4 is Spider-Man, released in the year 2000 for the PlayStation 1. When I first made my top 5 list, I thought this game was purely on the list because of nostalgic reasons, this being the first Spider-Man game I ever played. But that's rubbish, because this game deserves its place as the first decent Spider-Man game. It is more than earned its place on this list. When you think of how limiting the PlayStation 1 system was, the game mechanics blow every expectation out of the water. I remember being an excited 9-year-old, in love, obsessed with Spider-Man. The only difference between that and now is that I'm a 29-year-old, in love and obsessed with Spider-Man. But as a 9-year-old, jumping onto the ceiling, realizing you could crawl on the ceiling like the real Spider-Man was something spectacularly special. And in fairness, it's still kind of special now as a 29-year-old. The storyline in this game is really solid, and it actually contains a lot of my favourite Spider-Man characters. Otto Octavius, Venom, Carnage, and a lot of people forget Captain America was in this game. And the Human Torch, but Captain America! Along with a great story, have a great cast of voice actors with a lot of the people who had voiced characters in the Spider-Man universe and the TV shows prior, actually reprising their roles in the game. It's impossible to talk about this game without mentioning the endless green smog of Manhattan in this game. No breathing apparatus would let you go below that, otherwise you'd be choking to death. And I have to mention the kind of cuteness of Spider-Man's constantly clenched fists. The more you think, the more you talk, the more you realise this game truly belongs on my top 5 list of Spider-Man games. Question: why play as one Spider-Man when you can play as 4? The answer? There is no good reason to play as one Spider-Man when you can play as 4. That's the number 4, not the character Thor. Well, I made that incredibly confusing. SpiderManShattered Dimensions sees you play as 4 different Spider-Mans. The Amazing Spider-Man, which is voiced by Neil Patrick Harris. Spider-Man 2099, who has probably the coolest Spidey suit ever. Spider-Man Noir, the stealth Spider-Man. And a black-suited Ultimate Spider-Man, who I honestly can't think of any tagline to use. The storyline is incredible. As Spider-Man accidentally shatters the tablet of order and chaos into 17 different fragments, which are spread across his timeline. And despite the storyline being carried across 4 different characters, it works really well. It doesn't feel confusing or jarring as you switch between the 4 very different types of Spider-Man. Spider-Men? The only real negative to the game is that you can't really explore the different Spider-Man universes to the extent you really want to, as the game doesn't really have that many open world elements. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions is really seen as a reboot, as Spider-Man Web of Shadows didn't really hit the nail on the head. And I think it does a really good job of kind of reigniting interest in the Spider-Man video games. So it really deserves its place in this top 5. Spider-Man 2 is my favourite Tobey Maguire movie, and the game which was released alongside it is equally as enjoyable. The physics-based web swinging was revolutionary for its time and has only recently been beaten. And let's face it, any game that can make pizza delivery side quests enjoyable deserves a place in my top 5. This game was the first game that I truly felt like Spider-Man, and everything about the game helped towards that. The web swinging, the fighting combat, which is also physics-based, allowed you to whip enemies in the air, beat them up, just like you can in a certain PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game. Admittedly, the most enjoyable missions in the game weren't really the ones that related to the movie, but that should take nothing away from how incredibly important this game was, not only to the Spider-Man world, but to superhero games in general. Yep, here we are again, talking about Spider-Man PS4. Man, I do this a lot. I would like nothing more than to ramble for 60 hours about how amazing this game is. I would talk about how great the storyline is, the story twist, how good the characterization is, and the story arc of the characters. And oh my god, the web slinging makes me so excited and intrigued how it's going to be tweaked for Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's not what you thought I was going to say, was it? Get your mind out the gutter. Whilst it would be great to ramble even longer about this game, I think I did it more than enough justice in our top 10 Platinum Trophy video. This is the best game of all time and easily the best Spider-Man game. Anyone who disagrees is more than welcome to do so, as everyone is allowed their own opinion, even if that opinion is wrong. So by a clear country mile, maybe 2, 3, 5, 7 country miles, Spider-Man for the PS4 swings, see what I did there? Into top place. And that, as they say, is that. Do you agree with my top 5 Spider-Man games? Probably not. But let's start a discussion down in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe with that old notification bell turned on so you don't miss an upload from us. We upload every Wednesday and Sunday. Join the conversation in the comments down below. Share this video with a friend and hit a like. And we'll see you all again very soon in another Team Thumbs video. Bye!